Hello and welcome. This is a quick sort of what do you need to know about the IB Middle Years program for our department going into this school year. So the Middle Years program, it applies to all grades 7 to 10 and to all subjects, and it actually is going to mean adding some subjects such as design into the school as well. There's not additional curriculum being added on into our department, but we must demonstrate meeting some standards twice a year, and I'm going to get into that. This year in the second semester, that's the current timeline to begin sort of implementing the program, and that it's the next school year that we'll sort of see, are you sort of doing it? And you might be asking, why is the school doing it? Well, it's a very competitive international school market, and they want to get this stamp of approval on there. Okay, so what is it that they want us to look at? Well, they have four different areas that they want us to assess, and these are them here: knowing and understanding, research, communicating, and thinking critically. And much of the stuff we're doing already. So this in the white box there, that is taken out of the PDF file, and so this is one of the important little parts of that PDF file that's we need to know. Subject groups that we are must address all the strands of all four assessment criteria at least twice in a school year. So those four criteria, or four assessment areas, okay, those are these ones here, and each one has a number of different strands, and we're going to look at those. So criteria A, there's two, we have to demonstrate it twice, each of them twice. And criteria B, that's the research investigation, there's four areas there, and each one has to be done twice, and so on and so on. If you do the math, there's 13 different strands, and we have to twice demonstrate that we're doing it, and so that's 26 times that we have to add this stuff in. Most of it will be sort of in our projects and our exams that we can show that we're meeting this. Okay, so they have the required assessment criteria for years 1, 3, and 5. Now we only have 4 years, so grade 7 will be a first year, grade 10 will be a fifth year, and grade 9 will probably be the third year, and so 7 and 8 would be for years 1. So they build on each other. So this is looking at objective A, which is knowledge. Okay, so for year 1, year 1, they have the two strands, so students must use vocabulary and context. Not a problem. Okay, we're already really doing that. Especially think for grade 7, things like the research a country and talk about population density, birth rates, and all that kind of stuff. And then using, this is the second one, and then it sort of builds. So by year 3, it's the same thing, but they just sort of make it a slightly more difficult in assessing, and then into year 5 as well. So you can have a read over that. That's objective A. Here's objective B. It's got 4. Okay, so this one in year 1 will be built on in here in year 3, which will be built on here in year 5, but generally the same things. So this is the investigating or research. You can read through that. Okay, there's another important sort of point. They wanted to point out that objective B, investigation, that they have to use this with some of the other criteria at the same time. So like combine research with communication, for example. Of course, we already do this sort of thing. Objective C, communicating. And it's 3 strands that build on each other in years 1, 3, and 5. And the last one, objective D, which is the critical thinking. And you can sort of pause and look at what theirs are as well. So how do we know if are we doing this? Well, they provide rubrics in them. So this is looking at the rubrics for year 1, criteria A, the using vocabulary, knowing and understanding 1, and either not doing it or doing it. So we'd have to build this into current rubrics or use this as a separate rubric. I think that would probably be the easiest one. Just sort of staple it onto any rubrics we might be using for a project, for example. And I haven't got them for all A, B, C, D. They're in the PDF, which is in the Google Drive documents. You can have a look through there if you wish. And then finally, last thing is MYP schools are responsible for at least one unit done with one of the other ones. And of course, we would fit in very well with, English. Think of a novel like 1984 with our grade 10s. Grade 9's project at the end of the year might go with art and design. Science, possibly the grade 7 plan a vacation, maybe put a carbon footprint onto that sort of thing as well. But it says students are responsible for at least one interdisciplinary unit. Now, that doesn't mean that our department, each grade has to have a one with another department. It means the student must have at least one. So it could be math and science for grade 7, done. We don't have to do one for grade 7. So there's been no discussion on this so far. So this is something that there'll be discussions at the department head level, I imagine, sometime in the next semester. All right, so you can have a look through the different criteria, A, B, C, D, and their different strands and the rubrics, and just sort of get an understanding, okay, what do we need to demonstrate that we're doing? And for the most part, I think, yeah, we're already really meeting most, if not all, of them already, but we will have to explicitly demonstrate them. All right, that is it. All right, thank you very much for listening.